Seitokai Yakuindomo has a plot. What did I just watch? Okay, so the rumbling bunch of mess of sexual innuendo we normally get in Seitokai got turned into something like this in the first part of the episode. It completely took me back. It really did. I never expected something like this. I mean, especially Shino becoming an idol and dancing around. I mean, this felt like a really cliche, but this is Seitokai we're talking about. It's a cliche anime in and of itself. But it did something that it normally doesn't do. It actually tried to add a story with its characters, which was whoa. So, I like the entire elements of what they used in this episode. They had great animation, and once again, we saw some functionings of CGI. The music complimented it, but I was just so shocked with getting to see how, even though it was a fantasy up until the very part, and eventually it proved to be pointless, we get to see that Shino actually is really loving and caring for Suda. I mean, we clearly see it now in this season, and we're starting to see more romance elements, which I am so glad to see this. And that's shocking, really is. Hopefully we get to see more stuff like this later on in the future of the series, because I just cannot believe how well they managed to pull off a plot in this episode. Moving on, pretty much the second half of the episode, we get started off with Taka Squid. Taka Squid starts off again, and I will say, that was hilarious. Freaking hilarious. Okay, that was just crazy getting to see Suda just sticky freaking yogurt. You know, he said it was actual drinkable yogurt, but we find out that it's sticky yogurt, and then the freaking just misunderstanding continues. That damn cliffhanger to Taka Squid makes me want to know what's gonna happen. But I really love Taka Squid. That is such a segment I really love in this series. But there's so many different segments in this episode that I say I love this entire episode. It had a lot more out there jokes than even normal. I mean, they're getting worse by the episode. I want to say this right now. There were some jokes in here that was just downright dirty. One segment I will say that was the most dirty was that entire scene in the car with the panting, and Shino guesses it correctly, and just, I will say, that is messed up. I don't think they've ever went that far with their jokes before. I was just really shocked too. They did so many different things in this episode that managed to get me, because I couldn't believe how far they went. I mean, for one, the ending segment, the last section of the episode, that was probably my favorite moment. For one thing, the reason why is because Suda hits his hand up against the freaking, like, I think wall or whatever, desk, and you see his hand get hurt. And all of a sudden he starts licking it and all that. You see Shino peek through. He's like, I know you love your right hand, but you don't have to kiss it. that is freaking messed up. I mean, come on, poor freaking Suda. I mean, he's surrounded by freaking women that are all, like, I'm guessing, using sexual innuendo jokes, but he's having jokes like freaking fapping jokes made about him. That's pretty messed up and hilarious, and you gotta laugh to that moment. I mean, it's just very ironic, and it's really upsetting to see that Suda's still like how he is. Now, one thing, though, I felt like this episode just skipped from scene to scene like it normally does in the second half. It didn't have much point later on, but, I mean, this is Seitokai. It really doesn't have much point at all. But I was laughing heartily a lot in this episode. And once again, that's really all that matters in an anime, really. I mean, if an anime you go into that makes you laugh, that's a good thing. Especially if it's, you know, a gag anime. And I think it accomplished its goal in this episode. And all around, great episode. I enjoyed the different elements they brought new into this episode. Especially, like I said, the first idol part of the episode. That was probably the best part, in my opinion, of this episode, because I just cannot believe what I saw. And so, really, I want to see more Taka Squid, and I want to see more elements like that in the future of Seitokai, because they can actually use that to really drag in even more viewers of this series to make people even more interested. And so, anyways, there's not much more I can discuss about this episode unless you want me to go in details of all the freaking sexual innuendo jokes they had in this episode, which is downright freaking dirty, but, I mean, this is, I guess this is my guilty pleasure anime I love watching each week, because I have a good freaking laugh. Tell me what you think about this episode. What was your favorite segment of this episode? And what do you think was your favorite sexual gag? Let me know, everybody. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please stay safe. Chibi out.